former employment with one of the biggest telco companies in Kenya, I used to travel a lot. My son used to not see me because at 6:30 nimetoka, and I come back after 9 after he has slept. So I remember where I had to just take a break was he left me a note on my bed to communicate with me and tell me, Mom, don't forget tomorrow is sports.
Karibu tena katika show ya Tubonge Bila Kiki. Yani it's all about business, relationships, healing na reconciliation. Thank you kwa wale wanazidi kusubscribe na kushare na wengine. Napenda sana na furahi manake najua tunazidi kubonga kila kiki, tunafundishana, tunaelimishana, tunasaidiana na pia tunajengana kimoyo. Na leo it's such a privilege show manake for the first time a woman amekuja kwa show yangu. Anataka tubonge bila kiki. Tuongee mambo ya machua motherhood yanakaa vipi. Maana wengi mkinotice nilikuwa nimeleta support ni watu upande mwingine, lakini mama amesema leo lazima tukuje tubonge naye bila kiki. She's a woman, she's a mother, she's a lady, she's a daughter. Ako na character nyingi na kuna mambo mengi sana anafanya. Ya kwanza, she's the director of the Lotus family. Umekuwa Mombasa unajua penye iko. Hapo tu SK. It's a hotel yenye imekaa miaka mingi sana na yeye ndio director. Ukifika hapo hospitality perfecto. Alafu she's also the trustee of the ETK, mambo ya upandaji miti. Alikuwa amekuja akakuwa founder, ana push sana kwa mashule wapi kujeni tupande miti, manake ni kitu wanapenda sana kama wamama kuona miaka miti atakuwa endelea katika maisha yetu. She's also the part of art and soul. Kama unajua kama ujui atatuelezea zaidi tuweze kufahamu sana. So thank you so much for coming to Tubonge Bila Kiki, madam. Karibu sana. Wacha tubonge naye bila kiki. Karibu sana madam. Wacha ujiintroduce. Maana mimi nitasema na kujua kivyangu. So hapa leo introduce my friend tukujue ni nani, unatoka wapi and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Rahab Nderu. I'm born in Mombasa and I'm bred in Mombasa, so I'm a Mombasa resident. I'm a director at Lotus Hotel, as you mentioned. It's a family hotel. We've run it for 50 plus years. I also wear the hat of a trustee of ETK, Environment Trust of Kenya. It's been running since 1996. And it's actually focused on environmental conservation and preservation. Hence the reason why, as you mentioned, I'm very engaged in trying to harness the culture of planting trees and also of farming, especially in urban areas such as Mombasa. I'm also the founder of Art and Soul. It's a collective of artists who use their talent to be able to create art in public spaces. So if you look at some of the murals within Mombasa County, that's part of the artist group that I manage as well. Yes.
Yani when you tell me usually it's like, where huyu mama akona veo lakini bado anatoboa, and this, by the way she's still young. Ukimwangalia bado ni mrembo sana.
Asante.
So if you ask kuna watu umesikia Lotus but they don't know where it is, where can they found you, what mnafanyaga nini in Lotus?
So we call Lotus a hidden gem in Mombasa town because not a lot of people know where it is, but it's hidden because it's a silent look in the city. It's by Anglican Cathedral of Kenya. So the Anglican Cathedral off of Nkuruma Road. We're right at the end of the street. A family hotel, as I mentioned. So when you come in here, we treat you just as you are family. So we're based here. We've been again in operations for 50 plus years. We celebrated 50 years last year. So we are honored to still be serving Mombasa residents and travelers alike. But in addition to that, I think most important is that we have been able to create a family within ourselves in terms of our team, but also within the customers who come in. I think even when I was coming towards this shoot, I met one of the customers outside, and she's someone who we have just been talking on email when I'm responding to emails. And so it was good to meet because they know us through email, but we also know them through email. So it's good when you put a face. Yeah. So again, we treat each other just as family, and so we've been blessed, and by the grace of God, I think the hospitality industry has gone through quite a bit of challenges. I mean, when I think about the resilience that hotels and restaurants have had to go through here in Mombasa, it's a lot. You're thinking about 2007 election, then you're thinking about the pandemic that we've just gotten over, and we're now trying to just get restarted, and then get reignited back into our stagnant locations. But so far so good. So I cannot say it because of us. I think it's because of the grace of God and that He has been able to sustain us this long.
That's good. My name is Mungu mbele katika kila kitu.
Amen.
So you told me you're a mother also, because today tumesema I want to talk about mothering. Maana tuko na mama, tuacha tujue mambo ulezi uko vipi. So how old are your kids, maybe mother?
So
hawa nimeuliza sana.
So out of all those different positions that I've just talked about, the most important position that I hold and close to my heart are my children. So as a mother to them. And I like being very honest about mothering, because motherhood is a blessing. But it's also not a walk in the park, so it's not easy. So I don't want young people to be like, wow, it's the best thing ever. Yes, it's the best thing ever, but it also has its challenging moments. And a lot of times we as mothers who are working at the same time trying to provide and trying to mother, you hold a lot of the burden of guilt within you, and you're wondering and always questioning yourself, how good am I as a mother? It's interesting how mothers never question themselves in their careers. Like, I would never question my directorship, I would never question my foundership, but as a mother, I question myself every day. Coming to this shoot and knowing what's going on in the streets, we're not sure that there's protests or not protests. You're coming in, but you're coming in feeling guilty that you've left a little one behind. So I'm the mother of 2 boys. I've been blessed by God to be a mother of 2 boys. One is 21 years old.
Okay.
Yes, and one is 4 years old. So there's a big gap There's a very big gap. Hence, I say maturing mother. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, when I look at how my mothering with the firstborn is totally different from the second one. The first one, it was like you're testing, you're trying, you're seeing what will work, what will not work. And I think for me, you also are more careful. But with the second one, it's almost like it's you're relaxed in your motherhood. You know how to deal with emotions. You know how to deal with the questions, because these children of nowadays are not like us.
Exactly.
We never questioned our parents, but they are questioning. They ask a lot of questions. They are very explorative. So definitely, I think for me, there's been a very big difference between the first one and the last one. And I've been blessed that the first one actually considers, the younger one, his very, very close brother. They are very close, even though the gap in age is yeah. So ananisaidia sana na huyu mdogo. When I need him, I'm like, can you help me with this? So he's able to, so they have a very close bond. They really do.
For those years, what made you delay? Is it career thing?
I think it's a bit of both. I had my firstborn, when I had still not finished my university. So I got pregnant and had my firstborn son. And so having him, for me, it enforced what we keep calling it takes a village. People say it takes a village, but they don't realize what that really means. A good support system. So my family rallied around me. They actually supported me a lot with him. And in terms of making sure that he's okay, even when I had to finish my last year, I actually, he had to stay with my parents so that they could take care of him. So for me, with that experience, I was very cautious on having more children, for sure. For sure, I'll tell you.
Because you got support.
You got support, and you don't want to rely so much on people. So for you're like, let's raise this one. We're all raising it together, and you're like, he has been gifted to us. So let's go ahead and take care of him. But then after some time, I think now in my, because I had this last one when I don't want to age myself. But I was way past my 40s, yeah. When I had him, I was way past my 40s. So I think the second one, I was ready. And I had really wanted, and I'm going to be very vulnerable today because when I looked at my older son, I recall a story I read in the paper of a lady who had just lost her only child. And that story for me resonated because I was like, I also have one son. And I was like, God forbid if A, I lose him, or if he loses me. He is alone, you know, in the world. And so for me, I was like, I need him to have a sibling. Because if something happens to me, at least he has someone he can, you know what I mean, he can be able to deal with. And so I think then mentally, I remember just having a random conversation with my sister-in-law, and I was like, man, you know, I wouldn't mind having another child. And she kept saying, why? I said, because I don't want, my older son is called Christian. I said, I don't want Christian to be alone. And she said, really? And I said, yes. I said, she's like, but he's not really alone. I said, no, he really is. As a sibling, that connection is very different. I grew up in a family of 6, we're actually 5 girls and 1 boy. And so for me, that siblinghood is all over. Like I can count on my sisters and my brother anytime. And I just felt that he would miss that and he would not have that. And so I think I didn't make a conscious decision to go out there and I'm like, oh, let me get pregnant. I don't think anybody does. If people tell you that, it's a bit much. But so I went out and I really thought I really need to have another child. And God blessed me with another child 4 years ago. And that's why I call myself a mature mother.
So
I'll let your audience also calculate. Maybe we can do a rough follow.
So I want to imagine the life that you had with Christian now. Because teenage life, really nice. Maka, you know, for teenage life, it's so hard. Kami najua nisumbua kwangu.
Let me tell you, and there needs to be a support group for mothers who go through that.
Exactly.
Teenagehood is you know, yesterday we was having a meeting with someone, and I was saying, the calls, for me, the phone calls of 2 a.m. or the worries that a parent has at 2 a.m. in the morning, when they are younger, you're worried that they are going to be sick, you have to rush to the hospital, na kitu ameanguka, something has happened. When they are teenagers, you worry about that 2 a.m. call being that, Mom, I went to a party, I got a bit intoxicated, I need you to come pick me up, I need you to, you know, I'm crying, maybe I'm dealing with some mental problem. The calls just change. But as a mother, you never stop being a mother. And I think teenagehood, for me, let me be honest, I actually am very proud of my firstborn son. I thank God. Yes, I am. Because in as much as he and I had some struggles when he was a teenager, one of the things I remember my mother told me is when they are teenagers, you give them their space, especially as boys. I'm a mother of 2 boys.
For boys,
you give them their space. I think girls, you really struggle.
We struggle, but I can imagine sometimes when you get parents, when you're little, now they want to push you, adolescent nakupeleka hivi. I don't know how does it really happen?
It's a struggle, but as a mother, I think for me, and this is my opinion, and I'm no perfect mother, please, out there. I don't have
it's called you are born and be like it.
So I'm not a perfect mother, but I'll be honest, I think for me, the struggle comes when a mother and a child are trying to transform into the new form of partnership and relationship. And by that, what I mean is, you are mothering this young child as a baby. You mother a toddler, you mother a teenager, you mother then an adult. So your mothering has to change alongside with it. What we would worry about when they were young, you have to change it when they're teenagers. You can't keep asking them, have you eaten? Have you gone to the toilet? And this boy is like 14, 15, 16. You cannot do that because in essence then we are actually thinking for them. And also for them they are thinking, do you think I'm not adult enough to know to go to the bathroom? Do not to eat. So I think for me it's learning as a parent that you have to also be able to transform yourself as a mother. That relationship has to change alongside. Then there'll not be a struggle because even for them, when you transform yourself, they will also change. They will adopt to it. I really think for me that helped a lot. At the beginning, it was a struggle. Me, I was known by his friends as the Kali mother. Oh my God! Today I think they can write a book. Mama Christian, Mama Christian. Me, I was always like, where are you? Who are you? What are you doing? When are you coming home?
Because I think for relax. Is it the teenagers like openly so concerned of their lives, or they feel like you are looking sana in their life?
They do. And then as a boy and a mother, not so good, because they're like, what are you looking at in my life? They also feel like embarrassed because also they're going through, and I'm sure if you ask any guy, they'll tell you, there are things that they cannot be able to tell their mother. So they're also questioning themselves. They're trying to get into adulthood and grow into adulthood, and then as a mother, you're over there. And remember, you're from the opposite gender. So if it's a guy to a guy, a man to a man, it's different from a mother to, because he's already embarrassed. He's trying to identify himself. He's trying to find who he is. And then you're over there like, who's that on the phone?
Who's on that?
Nani amekupigia simu? Unarudisha ngapi? Hey man, let me tell you, they can, you can start.
Does it create fear?
In who? The mother or the child?
Both.
I think the mother, always. Is it Barack Obama who said, and he might have quoted someone else, he said, when you have a child, it's as if your heart is living outside your body. Because you're always in fear. It's like you're always, this little child who's out in the world, you cannot control where they are, you cannot control the friends that are, even you cannot control who they'll marry. They said, I was listening to the radio, and one of the things is someone was like, as a parent, you always wonder whether your child will find the right partner. And that can be a make or break, because you can either lose them or you can bring them closer. So kuna partners wengine watasaidia kubonda na kuna wengine watavunja. So you keep praying on them, where they are, wherever they are, we pray over our children. It is important. Let me tell you, always prayer, and prayer. When I look back at my life, I really thank God for His guidance, and He has stood by me, ahead of me and behind me in everything that I have done. Even when I was a single mother with the first boy, now Christian, I'm telling you, I never knew where I'd find the ability to put food on the table. I know people will think that that's crazy.
Imagine
because I don't know. But remember, I was in uni, and I was not close to the family. I was far away. So for me, I didn't want to burden them with, I've just had a baby, and again, I still need to be able to work and still go to school. So it wasn't easy. But God's grace, I'm telling you, He sustains. He sustains for sure. Yeah.
Now since you're in the traveling sector, how usually do you work? Unashinda kupiga simu like, how are my kids doing?
Yes. So number one is I don't travel
a lot.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
In their career.
Yes.
Leo utapata wako Kisumu, wako Kilifi, wako wapi because of their work.
Yes.
Do you think the bond na watoto wao usually inapotea, ama how you like Rahab, how does it work for you?
So it all depends on how you approach it, because I think when you have a baby, I think for me you lean into the responsibilities of a mother. So in terms of traveling, by the way, I want to be honest, I have reduced my traveling, especially after the 4-year-old came. Before I was moving up down. It was not even weird for me to go in the morning and come back in the evening, So it wasn't easy. And again, the difference between the first one and the second one. The first one, I used to travel a lot. In my former employment with one of the biggest telco companies in Kenya, I used to travel a lot. My son used to not see me because at 6:30, nimetoka, and I come back after 9:30. He has slept. So I remember where I had to just take a break was, he left me a note on my bed to communicate with me and tell me, Mom, don't forget tomorrow is sports day. So imagine umerudi jioni, unaona, is this the only way we are communicating? Through a paper that my son, he was at that time, he was 10, he's writing what it is that I need to remember.
So did you feel guilty?
Oh my gosh, it is the worst thing. So I cannot imagine. I know we have to work as mothers. This is the day and age where women are doing as much as men and men are doing as much as women. So we, there's that gender equality. So of course in that roles also have changed. However, it's not easy, I know, many mothers. But with a strong support system and effective communication. So honest communication with your children, because children will understand when you tell them, I need to go to work to be able to put food on the table. If you explain it to them that way and that you're not just disappearing, they understand, especially those who are a bit older. Of course, the younger ones, usually mahitaji yao ni ile ya have you eaten, have you showered, you know, umechukua dawa. Yeah, so their needs are different. But as they grow and they're able to comprehend your absence, it's important that you communicate. So they understand, for me to be able to
provide food,
I need to step out in the homes. Yeah. So and sometimes even bringing them to work. I remember the younger one now, Christian, as I was saying. Sometimes I had to drag him to my office. Even when I was in Nairobi, I had to drag him to the office so he sees I'm not just getting away from parenting you. I am parenting you, but through financially creating stability. Yeah. So that is very important. So open communication is key. Support system, very important. Very important. And I'm talking from your family members, and again there are people who unfortunately don't have great relationships with their families, but find a support system within your friends who you know they will be there for you no matter what, especially when it comes to your children. There are also people who unfortunately always who afford maybe people to take care of their children at home. I'm blessed that I have a lady at home who I call her second mother to my son. Bless her heart, I'm telling you. Without her, I would be very worried. But with her, I'm actually more strengthened. And so even when I'm leaving the home, to be able to make sure that he's good financially, I know that he's in good hands. He's in good hands. You know, and I pray that for us, we can all as mothers get to that point in understanding that the people you live with, your children, are even more important than you.
So whenever you travel, you know your baby is in safe hands.
And I pray that many other mothers have that same opportunities, because again, we cannot not work. And you cannot carry them to work. You know what I mean?
Why?
Yeah. So how do you create an environment where peace of mind for you is making sure that they are okay, they are taken care of, their needs are met. The other thing also I think for me is just understanding how to organize yourself. Many are times niko kwa simu hapa kwa Zoom, niko hapa tena nina organize sijui vile ataenda, adropiwe wapi, achukuliwe, afanye nini, akule, you are multitasking. But if you organize yourself, things are okay.
So organization and then nice person,
organization, good.
So whenever you travel, you don't feel bad.
You don't feel bad. And again, I have really reduced my travel time and also my time away from home. The firstborn was not so lucky. I had to really move around a lot because I was just starting off the career, and so he wasn't so lucky. But this time I've understood that the lost time I had with the first one, I want to make sure huyu wa pili amepata. So even my mom was anasema mtoto wako kama mayai jameni, kila saa I'm like there are some things I think I did wrong with the first one, so I want to make sure the second one, and it turned out okay. Lakini unajua vile unajiambia kama mama that you're feeling guilty. I wish I was there more, I wish I listened more, I wish I was more attentive, I was more responsive. So with those lessons, I try and make sure that with the second one that it's okay.
Okay, so let me ask, since Christian is above 20 na mdogo, sijajua Zach ni mdogo. Because I'm sure when Christian kimlea, that age, ni wale watu do this, wanafanya. And this generation right now, ni wale wamwambia, we fanya hivi. Right now when we are coming for the shoot, I was speaking to my partner, Jenga. Jenga was telling like, my son, anaitwa Miles, anaambia, when we are quiet, alikasirika paka nimeshangaa huyu mtoto ametoa wapi wisdom. Like, anasema kwa nini atwendi shule, yet serikali inaweza protect. This is just by the way, just saying now. So, umeona kama mtoto wa Njenga, he's so curious, anataka kujua why is this happening, na amesha find solution. And those generations za kitambo, ni wale do something they don't question. Do you think huwa ina affect mzazi ama how? Mage, I feel the generation ni tofauti sana. Hata wakati wangu, means I can't just ask wazazi, no you can't do this, sawa. Yes. But hawa wadogo naona, yani wanakuja wakiuliza maswali. So that age, how does a parent deal with such?
So like for
different,
me,
manake unaweza pata a parent right now akona different age group. Size. So according to that parent, anataka kulea mtoto wake according to what alienda through na the first born. Yet amesahau this generation and experience a different thing. So anataka kulea mtoto wake bado na ile mambo yao ya kitambo. What can you tell them so that they can just understand that generation inapita? Wanajua wanazidi kublame, yet they don't know maybe there's a situation ama age inapita.
So remember, when I was telling about transformation on parenting, very important.
Yes.
You do not have all the answers. Even our mothers are themselves do not have all the answers.
Yeah.
So as you're saying, when you're looking at the age range of the children you have at home, ask yourself, how does this one respond? Remember, I was telling you my mistakes with the first one sometimes was being responsive and attentive.
Yeah.
I was so busy trying to be able to work, etc., that I never thought about listening. What is he saying? What is he questioning? And to be very honest, hata huyo 21-year-old unasema yes, he right now kumwambia afanya atafanya, lakini he put me through a lot also. There were times also he would be like very he would question, like you're saying with Miles, he makes very logical decisions, like, hey, why can't I go to school? See, the police are there to protect us. So are you telling me the police are not doing their job? They are very logical in their way of thinking. So for me, I think it's about transforming how you're parenting. The first one might listen, the second, and it doesn't even have to do with their age ranges. It just means there are some children who are wanasikiza, wengine this my young ones are
Wanasikiza,
oh my, he's like I even call him he's a lawyer, because he will come here and tell you and explain to you and even question, like now as you're saying, he's questioning, why are you going? And I know kuna maandamano, where are you going? And you're telling us that you stay home, where unaenda wapi? So you see, so for me, I think learning how to be able to respond and react to different children based on their needs. Not every one child is the same. Mimi naweza kuambia tu kuna watoto tofauti na you're the one wewe ndio umewaza, lakini not every child is the same. So being able to understand that, and again, you do not have all the answers. So please bounce off other mothers and not comparison, not for comparison.
Yeah.
You're bouncing off other mothers to understand their experiences. I can tell you right now, my son, who's the 21-year-old, is the first grandchild in our family. So my older sister had her son after, and he's now a teenager. She calls me. She calls me to ask me, how do I deal with this? Or when they're visiting here, I can see exactly what struggles I went through with mine. I see them struggling. So I pull her aside and I say, hey, I'm seeing here, this is what happened, this is what I did. This is what I did. Maybe either step back, give him the space, don't question him too much, let him have that freedom to be able to express himself. Alafu atakuja. I'm sorry to say this to your partner, Jenga. As a guy who's here, I'll be honest. Me, I always say, boys, in as much as they are close to their mothers, wanafika mahali hata wao wanakuacha, as a mother. Mothers and their sons. So I always say, I really hate to say this, but I always tell my sister, dump them before they dump you, meaning, dump them before they dump you, meaning, remember your individuality. Wow. You're a mother, but you're also a person. You're a mother, but you're a person. So inamaanisha hata wewe, don't tell yourself, like for me, I'm learning it, and I don't want to tell you I have the answers. I'm learning to understand that I am a mother, but I'm Rahab. And who am I as Rahab? I want to ask myself that, and that's what this year I'm trying to find. Who am I? Because how watoto wataenda, they will dump you. Wataenda, watatoka kwa nyumba.
Unajua vile wamesema, wamekumbuka kwa sometimes mothers watasema like wewe umeshasema you dump people before wakudump. That's a very good thing and we learn. So sometimes there's a mother, we pour a lot of love, support. So is it bad for a mother to have a me time? The way we are saying, we are starting out to find yourself. So do you think is it something bad? Should a mother feel guilty like nimeenda mali fulani, nimezima simu, I don't want noise, sitaki kelele ya mtoto, I just want to have me time alone? Does someone feel guilty because anataka hiyo ama
no?
You as
mothers do not feel guilty. That is where we struggle. In fact, motherhood is motherhood for me, in as much as people, people say this, motherhood is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, yes. But does it become such a blessing till you are scared of saying, I'm struggling here as a mother? Do you know, we've reached that point where we are like so conditioned and socialized to say motherhood is a blessing, my children are a blessing. That to say ile tunataka kusema, hey, today I'm tired. We don't say it because we don't project it, and then people will say, oh, you're a bad mother.
You are a bad, exactly. Yeah.
So it is important you take your me time. I've just read about the dump them before because you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Very true.
So how are you pouring into these children if you yourself, you're empty inside? You're just operating as a robot. Wewe unaambia tu okay, unapeleka mtoto shule, unamsikiza jioni, homework, sijui nini. You're just a robot, but then you're losing who you are as a person. And they take a lot of keenness into how we respond to many things, not just parenting them, but also how we respond to interactions in the home, with your partners, with your husbands, with the ladies who take care of the home, with people around you. They observe it. And most likely, if you're empty inside, those relationships are strained. Now wana observe. So wao wanakuona tu kama robot unaendelea, but they're not seeing you pouring into yourself. So me time, very important. Please go to church, take your hours in church. Kama you're in support groups, if you're in the ministry of music, if you want to go spend time with friends. In fact, one of the things, as I told you, this year I have said dump before I'm dumped. Nakwambia, with my beautiful boys, dump.
So a mother should not feel guilty like they're taking care of themselves. It's good. When you give out sana unakuwa drained.
Yes, you feel very empty and drained. And let me tell you,
and that's a mature mothering.
It is.
You need that when the energy in the room, like, now I'm good, I can start again. So any man will feel vibaya.
Yeah, no, unajua, it's as simple as even you going for the day kwa salon usongwe. Unajua hiyo me time ukichukua tu unazungumza na yule msichana anafu. Yes, and then I'm telling you, when you get back, that energy you have for that child is very different. The way you respond to that child is very different from you just being kila saa uko tu hapo. So please take me time, take a walk. I like walking.
Hata kwa beach jamani,
sio hata kwa beach utembee tu, hata ukiangalia tu bahari. That me time is very important. Yeah. One thing they don't know about
usidanganye cause me I know some.
Very true. Very true. Oh dear. One thing they don't know about me. Some might know, but I think it's on a sad note, but I'd like to give honor to her. So some people don't know that I had a twin sister.
Perfectly.
Some people don't know that I had a twin sister. She's late, and today is actually her Memorial Day. She passed away 2 years ago today, and so yeah, in honor of her. In fact, she helped with the firstborn son. So that's why I say it takes a village.
May her soul rest.
Thank you for that.
At least now you made it.
Yeah, so
so what is a wow moment your parents?
Parenting, my wow moment in parenting. I think when you look at parenting, I'm thinking of both of them.
No, usiseme ya kuzaa.
No, everyone would say that for sure. So I'll give you two because I think right now, wow, because you must scare your gap. You're 21 now for Jamaica. They cannot be the same. So I think for me, for the 21-year-old, my wow moment is being able to just see him independent and go off to university. I'm just proud of him. I'm just very proud of him. And he never gave me a hard time. And of course, difficult, so yeah. But he never gave me a hard time. And I really feel very proud of him. He's become mature. We were having a conversation with him yesterday, and he's just telling me, Mom, I'm getting older. And I'm like, what do you mean you're getting older? Like, we should be So now, we're getting to the point that I respect Nile. He's understanding as an adult how I should respond to such. So for me, I think him becoming independent, and because you never, those are milestones that you're like, hey, will he ever get there? As the 4-year-old, you even wonder whether he'll get there. So with my 4-year-old, I'll be very honest. In as much as umesema kuzaa, I'll be honest. I think for me, my moment with him was when he was born.
10.
Yeah, because it was late. It was late. My age, was not. And I know there are women who have children that can live 60. But for me, it's just that age range. It was not an easy pregnancy, and so for me, being able to deliver him safely and sound, and and he's here. I remember nilikwambia mimi, my hope was that the first one akuwe na sibling, a sibling who's here. So yeah, I'd say for him that was my moment. And then of course we are still going through it. He's still young, so God willing, hata yeye atafikia pale, that his brother is also, but yeah, I thank God for the blessing of being a mother. I do recognize that there are many who would wish to be there and who would wish to mother, and I'd like to encourage them that mothering comes in different forms, There are those that they say children could go through us, meaning that they delivered through us, but there are those who actually come to us. So also look at those children who need you as a mother figure and see how you can be able to mother them in your own way. But I do acknowledge that there are many who would wish to go through that, and I encourage them to do it in their own way and look out, for the angels amongst us who just need a mother figure around them. But thank you.
And unasikia kulia.
Don't. Our makeups will come out down. And my mother, you don't even have time for makeup. So today, in honor of the show,
makeup today. Then you gonna mother haraka lipstick to kidogo. And your lowest moment that you had.
Lowest moment. Lowest moment as a mother. I think for the second one, not so far, but the first one, I think for me the lowest moment was a time he had a disciplinary issue, but I realized later that he was calling out for help. He fought another child in school, so I got called. So he was actually suspended from school.
High school or
from primary? Yeah, he was really trying to identify himself. Instead of saying boys, it's different. And so for me as a mother, I was just questioning whether I'm even the right person, to the point where inafika mahali unajiuliza, can I really mother a boy, or should I get him to go and stay with his father? Then you have to kick yourself and ask yourself, there's a reason why God has given you that child in your home, and there's a reason why God has told you that you're the one to take care of him, because if it was possible, he would have been with the dad already. But the reason why I had to get down on my knees is because he was calling out for help, and I didn't know that I'm the one who's able to help him. As a woman, you're asking yourself, so he's confronts certain things, the things he's identifying. He was also reaching out for, like, where is the father figure that I require. So it's not easy. As a mother, you'll always, whether you have the perfect home, meaning you have the perfect marriage and the perfect partner, or you're a single parent and you have all the money in the world and you have great jobs, you're a director here, director here. When it comes down to motherhood, you are you and God. You're the one, and God. So with that, I remember he had it was even the suspension. I remember even, sasa unajua vile nilisema it takes a village. Sasa hiyo ni common ground. When this child is born, they become a common property, meaning the guka, now the grandfather is there calling. What is this I'm here? Ninasikia ako suspended. Grandmother anapiga si the siblings now all rallying around like, what has happened? What did you do wrong? So you're feeling so much guilt, like, am I able to really do it? And remember again, I was working a lot. So I was feeling guilty. My absence maybe has caused this boy to be reacting in the way he is, even fighting in the school and everything. So that for me was my lowest moment. But through prayer and through support, I think my mother was very supportive of that. She was like, Rahab, keep at it, keep talking to him, keep praying over him, and for sure he turned a new leaf. And of course, yes, you have to be firm. Sisi ni Afrika jamani, tusifikiria Yes, for sure. So,
Kibonge inasaidia
tima communication Barack Obama style. Hapana jamii. Kibonge inasaidia. So yes, there was some tough conversations and tough conversations. Lakini and that's what I'm saying, very proud of him, because when you look at that and then you're like, what about 10 years later he's a different person, you cannot believe it. So I really thank God for that. But that was my lowest moment, when you question whether you're even the right parent. Imagine when you're questioning whether you're the right parent. It's a tough one.
It's usually a tough journey.
It is. And and I'm blessed that was the only issue at that time. There are mothers who are facing children, problems with children who are every year. Drugs, they are stealing, they are killing, they are fighting. So I cannot imagine, but what I'll say is, outside of course the power of prayer, is to be able to keep at it. Don't stop mothering. Don't stop, because it's very easy for us to say, kwambia hata mimi kaanza kusema huyu mtoto aende kwa babake.
Ni kweli. Yani unasikia umechoka unasema
then you don't want the blame anymore. Now you're like, let me pass this on to someone else, and then baby you blame. But it's not the right thing. So just keep mothering, keep talking, keep praying. Don't give up on your children. Do not give up on your children. And it's not easy, because inafika mali you're like I don't have the solutions, I don't have the answers, but just keep at it, and I'm sure God will bless you. Bless him and bless her, or bless your child, but more importantly, bless you to give you the wisdom to be able to parent.
And I'm just here smiling, nasema hata mimi niache hiyo age gap, nianze ku experience that. This unajua wangu ni 10, sasa nitafuta mwingine. Naomi is 10.
No ways.
She's just 10.
You need to start working on it.
Hata nifike 20. No, at the right time, God will bring another one.
For sure, in His own time.
In His own time. Hatuna haraka, at the right time.
Yes.
Naomi atapata mdogo.
Yes, exactly.
Yani nimefurahi, nasikia I'm just enjoying this conversation. I'm getting to understand motherhood. Yani inakaa sana natamani niseme Mungu vipi? Leta mwingine. Nimefurahi. Yani the conversation here, it's
I hope it has encouraged some parents.
I'm sure. So any last word you need to tell a mother outside there?
I think for me is to just tell you that mothering never stops. Whether those children are 1 year old, whether they are 20 years old, whether they are 40 years old, mothering never stops. So I would suggest that take heart. It's not easy. No matter what you're going through, please bounce it off of your support system. Someone, and I'm not saying that it has to be a very big support system. Lakini uwe tu na mtu ambaye you can be able to talk to. You can know that this person will give you wisdom and give you guidance on how to be able to parent. But you cannot do it alone. You will need someone around you or people around you to be able to do it. Children are given to us by God. We are just stepping in the role of their parents here on earth, but they really belong to God. So I think when you're even parenting, if you see that through that lens and you're able to see yourself as a stand-in between you and God in parenting, then I think everything will be okay. So take heart. Na wale ambao hawajaanza wanatafuta Naomi number 2. Be encouraged that it happens. As I said yesterday, I was reading about this mother who's 62, just had a baby as well, and they have them older as well. Wow. So please take heart in that. But definitely in terms of mothering, I know when you're older, you see it from a totally different lens from when you're younger. Not that one is wrong or one is right, because there's no parenting book, there's no mothering book. It's just you to be able to navigate in a way that experience has taught you. So please find a support system, because the village definitely helps us in raising our children. Asante.
Yani umemaliza, but vile umeongea kuna kitu umenikuja kwa akili. When you said that she was 62 years old, unajua kuna mother outside there, they have their kids very late. And they usually feel guilty. What can you tell you? Huwa wanapata watoto maybe 45, 46. Wanaitwa retirement babies. Right? No, it's true. Na nimebonga bila kiki. There are mother outside there wenye wanapatanga watoto age ikiwa nzee sana. And huwa wanafeel aibu sana. Yani what can you tell such mothers?
I think as you said, that God's timing is the right timing.
Because they fear society.
In terms of them telling them, yeah, because some people are like, this is the show.
Exactly.
The other children are like, this is your show. No, I've seen them. But I think also, you're saying the 45s, but I had mine at that, around that age range. So that's why I know that people usually look, and I might not look as old as I am in numbers, but there are those who now people are like, the other children start teasing the child, is this your shosho? Is that, and even the parents themselves are like, hey, Mintaka, come on, mini shosho, I'm not this young parent. But I have suggested, as you're saying, what's timing is the right time. So again, what my suggestion to you is look at your parenting. Forget about the outside world. People will always talk. They are talking when you're 25.
Wacha nikupatie example. Sasa umeenda na mtoto shuleni anasema huyu ni babako, ni sister yako, huyu ni nyanyako. Kuna hiyo anafeel aibu wazazi. So nataka ueleze cause age group inakuwa kubwa sana. Tuseme mimi niko 40 ama niko 60, alafu niko na mtoto wa 14 years. Sasa nimepeleka mtoto shule, mtoto anaanza kuchokoza. Sasa ile mtoto anasikia vibaya shuleni, naambia wewe unakuja na babu yako, na kumbe ni babake. So babu naye hata kwenda shule na ni baba. So those tumenielewa.
I think nimekuelewa. But you see for me, I always
so that mpaka hawaendagi shule, no, that's how I want to you give them a word.
Yeah, so the children don't go to school.
No, the parents
don't want to go, so they send someone else aende kama
manake mtoto ambaye ukikuja unanaibisha wewe hiyo age ya age.
It's a difficult one because when you're just talking that way, who is the biggest problem in that conversation? Society or you yourself?
Because it's naona inafanyaga mtoto pia anasikia aibu.
Ni kweli, lakini ni nani ndo wameleta shida?
Ni society.
Exactly. So to be very honest, in everything society will still speak. My thing is overcome it with love. This child, a child to nurture, to be nurtured, and a child to succeed, especially at the beginning of their age, of their lives, is love. You can give them food, you can give them everything, is to love that child and instill confidence in that child. Please instill confidence in that child. Hata kama we ni mama 60 years old na kuna mtoto ambaye is 4 years old, please by all means, if you instill confidence in that child that no matter what my age, I had you later because I was working for what we have now.
Wow. Confidence.
Wewe umeona watoto wengine ambao wako na overconfidence mpaka hata wewe mwenyewe unashangaa. It's because of how the parents have raised that boy. A child can come here, he's kid of 4 or 5. All you have to look at is there are some children I see in Nairobi they have a gospel group. If you see how they have confidence in the way they are talking, in the way they believe who they are and believe why they are here on earth and their purpose, you're like, that has nothing to do with wow, wamekuwa groomed to understand I have a purpose on this earth. I have been brought on this earth for a reason, and at that time that I was meant to be brought. So a lot of it is very little. Now unajua, it's unfortunately because society saizi tuko na mambo mengi. Unasikia maandamano ya leo kwa sababu the people cannot afford things. The standards of living have really gone up. So we have other problems. But if you tell yourself, I will spare 5 minutes a day to talk to this child, to be able to instill the confidence and the love in that child, it will make a difference. And na unajua usipoifanya nyumbani kuna mtu mwingine nje ataifanya na then maybe they'll put the wrong seed in that child. So I'll suggest please spare some time for our children. They don't have it. We are so busy. Hata tukiwa nyumbani tuko kwa masimu zetu. Have you noticed that?
Nice.
We're on our phones because Charlie's calling me, Jenga is trying to set up a shoot, something like that. So you're always on your phone. But if we just tell ourselves, let's spare some time, and we don't have to have a lot. It's not even about wealth. It's not about what you have. It's just you listen to that child. You talk to that child. The other day, someone was telling me about when we were growing up. Remember, our parents used to use the table for eating as a way to be able to counsel us. We never realized it. Ukiambiwa kila mtu aje kwa meza tunakula. No matter what it is you're eating, no matter how you're eating, if you're on the ground, if you're sharing, that was their time to counsel us, to listen. Shale kuna problem hapa, Rahab kuna problem hapa, ama Rahab amefanya vizuri kwa shule. That was their time because they knew during the day hakutakuwa na nafasi. Mwanzo ukiwa na watoto wengi, I don't know whether you have siblings as well. When you have other children around, that is the one thing that unawaambia wote wako. Ni kama almost like kama a meeting, your assembly. Ni kama assembly ya nyumbani, unaelewa? But they were using food and meals as a time to communicate. No matter what you're eating, no matter how you're eating, it was the time that they would use to understand. And when that person told me that story, I said, actually, you're very right. We never think about it that way.
That's when no wonder. But mimi wanachukulia
ni tu lakini niulize siku hizi wewe unakaa na Naomi all the time. For me
not
me too. I don't, either I'm late in getting there or I'm not there, or we don't even foster hiyo nini ya kukaa pamoja kula. We don't do it. And yet our parents did it. And this is just one generation away. So we need to continue to find what avenue we have to even just give those children a little bit of time. So we identify problems early on. Kama kuna shida tunanini. Kila siku hizi kila mtu ako huko.
Unanidunga mishale tu ya uzazi. It was an amazing conversation. Get to understand motherhood vizuri sana na kulea mature, and I'm sure msikilizaji mwenzangu hapo umeweza kuelewa. Please subscribe, share, so all mothers wajue ujumbe ni mgani wa siku hii ya leo. Napenda sana, tukutane katika episode ijayo. It's all about motherhood. It's all about tunabonga bila kiki. Umeambiwa dump them before you they dump you. At least nimelearn leo. So no, mama hapo nje usifeel guilty ukienda ku have me time. You need that so that unapoa nyingi na wewe uweze kupata nyingi. So nawapenda sana, tukutane tena na tuzidi kubonga bila kiki. Kufundishana, kuelimishana, kusaidiana na pia tunajengana kiimani. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.